Hey guys, and welcome back to the Interceptor. So today we're here with another war video, and we are going to be going up against Space Bastards, or SpBa. And these guys are a pretty good alliance. They're usually in Masters or the top Platinum 1, but they shouldn't be like a huge problem for us. And I'm actually going to be using Wasp a few times this war, which is going to be interesting. We don't have a huge war today. I believe it's only 6 fights, I think, which is the lowest I've been at all season. But that's just because, yeah, we're going to be taking this Killmonger boss with Ghost, and I am going to, let me make sure. I don't have the game open. Okay, never mind. We're going to have to open up the game later. Actually, we're going to skip it. Never mind. I'll just tell you. And yeah, we're going to be going in with the Ghost Trinity team. So this was, of course, back before my Wasp went to rank 3. So this was actually the war immediately before, this was the war immediately before I did my Abyss Path. So yeah, we're going Path 6, Section 1, then we're going over to Path 3, Section 2. And for this Heimdall here, we're just going to... I was planning to go in with Hood, but with Hood you want to spam Special 2. And with Suicides plus Strike Back, I just didn't love that. So we're going to go in with Wasp. And this is just going to be a pretty fast fight. So the strategy here is just bait out L1s and then do shorten combo into a heavy attack. So usually just 1 or 2 hits. So yeah, medium heavy attack is a very good strategy. It's basically the same thing as Doom, except it's like much more consistent because it's guaranteed crits. But the downside is you don't put stagger on. But yeah, we're also chaining heavies in the corner, which is really nice. But you'll notice that from Suicides, poisons, we're actually losing 30 health per tick, which is 60 a second, which is crazy. But you guys can see that I'm pretty good at countering Heimdall's heavy attack with most champions. And right here, we're just going to chuck off this L2 with an intercept, and that's going to end off the fight. So very easy fight. We actually did have Fintech take this fight in another BG with Quake, and he actually died because he took 1 blocked hit when I think Heimdall was at like 10 or 12 Aggression Furies right before he was about to die. But this is going to be a rank 3 Clairvoyant on Power Alternator. And there's really nothing crazy about this node. There's Power Focus 1. It's just a diversity node. I've never seen either our defense or any alliance we're facing have any death to this node. It's just never happened because there's no one you can place on this node that is a good placement. Like, there's just no one. But yeah. Now we'll move up into Section 2, and I'm going to be taking a Mortal Mini-Boss. Oh, wait! Maybe I have 7 fights then. I actually have no clue. No, I have no clue. But yeah. Yeah, I might have 7 fights. But yeah, this is on EMP modification. I did the planning for this war. I gave myself these fights. And I just didn't really see this fight as an issue. So we're going to be throwing the heavy attack. We didn't get any Furies or crits there, which is actually a good thing because of this node. But there we go, we throw that L2. He's going to throw his L1 right here. I'm going to have, I think, 4, yep, because we get a cruelty. And then I'm just going to throw off that L1. I should have thrown it off. There we go. We're just going to throw it right here. And that fight is over. We're going out with 92% health. I'm pretty happy about that. I do see the point of putting Mortal on that node. But I just think Ghost is by far the best counter. And then, yeah, these guys are helping me out with moving up. So I can take the mini, I can reach it with my energy. And we're just going to be taking this Colossus. And Ghost is definitely not the best counter to this node. Just because every time you throw the L2, you're going to be reactivating the armor ups. And it's just really annoying. So here, I should have been phase parrying. But it's alright because we're going to be fine. So as I get to my L2, we're going to phase parry. We're going to chuck off the L2. It's going to activate an armor up, so our second hit does no damage. And yeah, we only are taking off 20% per L2, so I really need to switch up my strategy, because when you do a big amount of damage to Colossus, that's when he gets his armor ups. And right there I tried to phase parry, but I phase parried too quickly, so it still counts as a phase, but there we go. He did the exact same thing. It's just really annoying, and that one also took off 20%, so this is just an incredibly annoying and really long fight. It's a really safe fight, because I can't imagine a way that you could die in this fight, as long as you don't like take a special one to the face and get stunned or something. So here we go, we're gonna check this one off. He actually somehow dashes out of that, but doesn't decide to hit me. If he had, I wouldn't have died, it wouldn't have mattered. But just nice to save a few potions. So here we go. We're going to dash out of this. He's at 20%. This fight's already taken way too long. Could have thrown that L1 and ended the fight right there. Eaten some recoil if it didn't kill, but he wouldn't have been at an L3. And right here, we're going to parry. And this guy's easily going to die. Even if he didn't die, if I somehow left the stubborn node up, then I could have just tanked the L3. And he would have just had his armor up. Like the passive one, where if you hit into his block, he is unstoppable, but it doesn't really matter because he's not fully unstoppable. And right here, I'm actually going to take off Dex just for one fight, and this is the dumbest thing I've ever done. Why do I take off Dex here? No clue. But as you guys are going to see the way this fight goes, it's just, it's pretty crazy. But yeah, we're going to take off Dex for some reason. And we're going to max out Limber. The only reason I'm maxing out Limber is because why not? I mean, I have the extra points. All the points are going to stay the same. The last point's going to go right into Dex as soon as this fight's over, because I need it for my next fight. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. And right here, I don't know why I waited for this global to come, or the node to come down, because if you turn off Dex, that node does literally nothing. So yeah, I don't know why, but I'm gonna wait a second for him to take down this long shot. He was using magic. I think that's magic's the best counter to long shot on that node. You could make an argument for Warlock, but if we're being insanely safe, make sure he doesn't get to an L2, because if the guy places without willpower, then Warlock can be sketchy if he's very stingy on his L2s. But yeah, we're going in with Wasp, and the strategy is to just heavy this man like crazy. We're hitting like 17, 18k heavies. It's just pretty crazy. Yeah, 6k, that's a 20k heavy right there. Every single time, guaranteed crits 20k. It's just insane with Wasp. There I could have thrown another heavy safely, but I'm going to go for a combo. The node from path 2 doesn't do anything as long as you don't throw special attacks, so you can't linked if you're either using Warlock, using magic, or if you're quaking it. But I mean, there's more ways than that, but that's just some of the most popular examples of ways to counter that buffet node. But yeah, now we're going to be boosting up big, and we're going to be taking this spider gun. We're going to throw on that 20% boost. We're going to throw on a 30% boost. Wow, okay. I do not remember this. And at this point, it's around 11 o'clock at night. Wait, 11 o'clock? No, this is 1 a.m. Right, okay, so on this day, I had to work 7 a.m. the following day, so I really needed to get to bed. But yeah, we're going to take the Spider Gwen. You guys have seen this fight like 2 or 3 times, I think. It's just such an easy fight. The best counter to Spider Gwen on this node in the game is Venom. The second best is Ghost, and the third best is Nick Fury. Any champion that is not one of those 3 is not the safest option, but I'm sure there's other champs that can do it. But those 3 are all relatively even with how safe they are. So right there, I did not mean that. So right here, we're going to bait out an L2, but she's going to be stingy, and we're going to eat some brute force. Right there, I'm really glad she didn't evade, because that would have been a little bit annoying. So there we bait out a heavy, we go for a medium, and this girl's dead. Every time I've done that fight, I've gotten better and better. Of course, that time I ate a little bit of brute force, and I risked it with that one hit. Now let's go into this fight. So this is a Killmonger. And if you don't know the way Killmonger... Oh, I can pause it right here. If you don't know the way that Killmonger's vibranium armor works, it says... Damage is based on Killmonger's stored power at the time of activation, inflicting up to 80.5% of, here's the keyword, incoming damage. Incoming. Remember that. Remember the word incoming as physical damage. Reverberation is an 8-second. I don't care about the rest. Let's start the fight. Let's see how this goes. Alright, remember the word incoming damage. So, I've taken Killmonger on Path 9, Section 1. I know the way the fight goes. I went to the beginning of the clip by accident. Sorry about that. So yeah, we're going to throw in an L1 boost as well before we go into this fight to try to get to our first L2 first. And this first fight is not so pretty. I believe I'm about to make a mistake and die like really, really early. So right there, I went for an intercept. I landed it. It was clean. And then we threw off an L2 while his reverberation was down. That's perfect. And then right here is the mistake. I'm dead. So yeah, I missed the L1 evade. I should have just blocked it. But right there, you'll see right here, he's got stubborn up. I hit into him and still get reverberation. But the thing is, I thought I died to a bleed I hadn't phased off yet. So I go back in. I'm like, okay, I've got this fight. Ghost is a good counter. All that I have to do is not get hit by an L1 like that, and I'll be completely fine. By the way, that's like the first death in like I think it was 12 or 13 wars. So yeah, that was a little annoying. But yeah, we're gonna go back in with Ghost. We heal her up to max. We've still got the L1 boost going, and my strategy is the same. So we got down 20% with one L2. So I'm like, okay, let's land 4 more L2s, and this fight is over. It's over. So right here, I'm going to go for another intercept, don't land it. And then here we're going to go for a 4-hit combo into an L2. We get 2 debuffs, which is not great, but it's not bad. And then right here, reverberation, and you're about to see it. Boom! 1,700 damage. And at this point, I go into panic mode. I'm like, where the hell was that damage from? Because I know the way Killmonger works. And if he's stubborn and I'm doing 0 damage on my hits, correct me if my math is wrong, but 80% of 0 damage, still 0 damage. I mean, I'm a mathematics major in university, but it doesn't take someone like me to realize that 0% of any number is in fact 0. But apparently, in Kabam world, that's not true. So we died, obviously, to one of the worst bugs I've ever seen. Now, I did talk with my alliance, and someone had one theory, FinTech had one theory on why I received the damage, and he thinks that incoming damage is not necessarily sustained damage. There's no way to test that out. It's just a theory. I personally think that because Korg works the exact same way, for Korg, he does work right. You're supposed to do damage while he's indestructible. But with Killmonger, I'm about 99.8% sure that was a bug. Now, the first death, totally deserved. But does that change the fact that the fight was still bugged? Not really. However, with the rules I have kept up in these videos, regardless of whether the death, and it has to be a death, comes from a bug or a legit fight that I messed up in, it's still going to count. So yeah, we take home this victory, and we actually, my BG messed up really badly. We died 9 times total in my BG. Now, granted, 5 of those were to the boss, 2 of them being me. But yeah, we just didn't have a great war, and I really appreciate the other 2 BGs for clutching it out and having such strong wars. I think they died twice and once, respectively. So yeah, that's very unfortunate, but that's going to make us 4-3 on the season, back to positive again. I'm going to have 2 deaths total on the season, and then our PSR is going to be 48, 49, and the reason it's not dropped by 2 like it has been in previous seasons, or it's the difference between the first and the second is the number of deaths, is because PSR measures what percentage of fights you solo, and I've soloed 48 out of 49. It doesn't change the fact if I die 1 time or 100 billion times. It's still 48 out of 49, which is 98%. And then Deathless Streak reset to 0. So if I had finished that Killmonger off, or let's say he wasn't bugged and I'd soloed him, or I'd given the boss to a Corvus, because we didn't have a Cosmic Ghost Rider at the time. We do now. I would have been at 12 straight wars. So it was Alliance War, Season 21, War number 7 that I got my last death in last season. So it would have been 12 straight wars without a death. Unfortunately, we're going to pick up 2 deaths here to a bugged fight, but it's still. And then that's going to be it for this one. And, oh wait, hold on. Is it going to go to where we are in the season? Do I show the leaderboards? Okay, the leaderboards weren't working that day, right. Okay, that's going to be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing me die. I definitely didn't enjoy dying, but that's going to be it, and I'll see you in the next video. I probably said that about 5 times. Later. Bye.